know the spelling of the person, Tatum's last name?
Good morning, everybody.
Of who?
I'd like to open the meeting for the Personnel Board for November 19th, 2019, roughly 9:05. First on the agenda, pledge allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. Next on the agenda is the October 15th minutes for the meeting we had. Has everybody had a chance to review them?
I read the minutes, and I make a motion to approve the minutes of the October 15th,
I'll second it.
2019 Dudley Personnel Board meeting.
I'll second
Okay.
it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Thank you. Item number 2, citizens' comments. We don't have any today. Under old business, item number 3, treasurer collector position. Joan, if you'd give us a little status, please.
Yes, the treasurer collector, Rich Carmignani, and I interviewed 4 or 5 people for the position, and we agreed on the one that we thought would best fit the position in the town of Dudley. Her name is Tatum Caraccio, and she is a Dudley resident, and she started yesterday.
Okay. Carol, do you know if she's had her physical and everything's all set?
That would go through Michelle now.
Okay.
I spoke to Rich earlier, and he said that had all been done.
Had not been done?
It had been done.
Had been done. Good. Thank you. Item number B, water superintendent position. There was one candidate, and it was George, who's acting superintendent right now. Myself, Scott Zukowski, interviewed this gentleman, and I thought he had actually a very, very good interview. Very thorough, very right to the point. When I read his resume, I was quite impressed. He has all the educational skills that are needed, and he also has all the certificates that you have to have when you're dealing with chemicals and all that kind of stuff. I recommended to Scott that the personnel board had no problems with him becoming a full-time superintendent. That was brought back, this was on a Tuesday, it was brought back to the Water Sewer Commissioners on Wednesday night. They approved. I believe he has signed a letter of acceptance, and it also included his salary, which is required in the letter of acceptance, and he's already started. So that position is filled also.
I have a question.
Yes.
Now, he was a union employee. Is he now under
He
town hall?
he is a non-union employee now.
No, okay, I just was
So
curious about
then that begs the question that, does he have to have a physical and do everything that, and have an orientation as a non-union employee now?
I don't believe he has to have that. I mean, I'll double check and I'll find out, because I don't want to say, yes, he doesn't have to have it, then all of a sudden, because he's changed his
Well,
status.
And the only reason why I asked that question is I know that he would be familiar with, his employees are unionized,
Yes,
so he would be familiar with their working conditions
yes.
and what they have to hold up to and what his part of that, his responsibility is on that. But does he know now what's in the employee's handbook as far as what he is being held to?
He the employee's handbook, I do not believe that's in the contract for union people.
But he himself would be under the handbook
Okay.
now.
And if that is the case,
Then he should be familiarized with it, and he should go through some form of orientation, just for his own protection.
yep, absolutely. I will bring that up with Jonathan the next time I have an opportunity to see him, because that same requirement should be for the highway superintendent's job. Because
Excuse me, Vinnie was non-union
he was
before.
non-union.
Yes.
Okay, then that's fine, I stand corrected. I'll find that out.
All right, thank you.
Peter, did you take a roll call?
Roll call?
No, when we say present, when you start the meeting.
No.
No, I think that's a good idea, though.
Yeah, we usually say, we say present. We didn't do that today. I thought we usually
Personnel
did that.
board, we didn't do that. We never used to do that.
Oh, never?
I
Okay,
don't
that's
remember
fine.
that.
I don't,
I know if you are holding a public hearing, you have to do a roll
Yeah.
call,
okay,
but,
It's more of an attendance.
yes.
yeah,
Like, we all know who we are.
yeah,
But if anybody out there is watching,
they wouldn't.
they're not sure.
Well, why don't you bring it up and let's have a roll call?
I think we should have a roll call, Peter, so that people tuning into the meeting on TV would know who the members of the various boards are.
Sounds good to me. Joan?
Joan Gardecki,
Rose Smoker,
Peter Fox?
Orna Wade.
Carol Savard.
We're official now.
okay.
Would you like to have nameplates? Most of the other commissions and
Sure.
boards do.
Sure,
Why not?
that would be.
Okay.
Why not? Okay, item number C, bereavement leave for part-time employees. Unfortunately, Jonathan is not here, but he was gonna talk about that a little bit, but maybe Carol, you can give the public a little update on what that is.
On page 19 of the employee handbook, under funeral bereavement leave, I have it highlighted in green highlighter. It says, employees may be paid for absence from their regularly scheduled work in the event of a death in their immediate family. The question came up because some people had a mother and a mother-in-law pass away, and they were not compensated for that time. I do not know whether they would have normally worked on the day of the funeral or not, so that's a question that I have yet to ask. But from my understanding of reading this, that they should be compensated, for instance, if they work 3 hours on a Monday, and it happened on a Monday, they should be compensated 3 hours. That's what I'm reading here.
Okay, I think we need some clarification.
Well, I think part of the problem with the language with me is, do we allow bereavement for spouse, child, et cetera, as listed in the top? And if we do, then the language says may be paid, and may be paid is up to the discretion of somebody, whether they wish to do it or not. So if it is a policy that we do it, it should say employees will be paid.
I agree.
Maybe
The
is
word
like,
maybe is very iffy,
right,
and one person might interpret it one way, another person might interpret it another
and
way.
it allows for capricious behavior.
Yep.
So for you, yes, I will let you have this bereavement time. For you, maybe not. So I think if we do it as a policy, and this is something we provide for our employees, then it should say employees will be paid for absence.
Another point is, excuse me, all of the library aides are very part-time. And on page 10 of the employee handbook, I'm not against anybody getting bereavement leave. But on page 10, it says, a regular full-time employee is one who is scheduled to work 40 hours a week. A regular part-time employee is one who works at least 20, but fewer than 40. And that's why the aides are not entitled to benefits. And it says, the town also employs employees on a temporary, intermittent, casual, and seasonal call basis. Such excuse me, such employees are not eligible for benefits under these policies and procedures unless expressly provided for herein are required by law. Now, like I said, I'm not against anybody getting bereavement leave, but I think it should be stated, either all employees,
I don't think that that language is inclusive enough to be noted that if you are a casual, less than part-time employee, that you're not, you do not get these benefits? You don't think that that's,
what I find different about that is that the library aides are very part-time, but they are permanent. They're not temporary. They're not on an on-call basis. So,
They're hired as permanent employees, but they work very small hours,
yes,
short hours.
yes. So I think, like Lorna said, it should be stated if they are going to receive it. I think it should be stated in here. We could recommend that to the administrator and personnel director.
Okay, should we make that in the form of a motion?
yes. Do you make that as a motion, Joan?
Yes, I'll make that a motion that we put the word all before employees may be paid for absence.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? You want to include in that motion that this motion gets referred to the personnel director for approval?
Yes.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Joan.
And highlighted in green is grandchild. Is that because we wish to move that up to immediate family?
That was something I had spoken to Carol about, and I believe that a grandchild is immediate
I
family.
do also.
I know I would be out more than one day if it was mine.
I would, if I were employed at this point in time, I would also.
I could not agree more. My grandchildren are very important and dear to me, and they are definitely, in my opinion, part of my family. So I agree with that.
We could also bring that up to the personnel director.
Yes,
I'll make a motion that we speak to the personnel director about moving the position of grandchild up to immediate family.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Sensitive subject. Item number 4, new business. Item A, workplace violent policy. Carol, you want to comment a little on that, please?
The workplace violence policy, as listed, is only a paragraph, well, 2 paragraphs. It doesn't explain a lot of procedures and so forth, and the workplace hostility policy on the next page does explain a lot more.
Can I ask,
So
this
you,
workplace hostility policy, where does this language come from? Because it does say Town of Dudley.
I copied it from another town that uses it.
All right, so you just inserted the Town of Dudley.
Correct.
I think my one concern about this is I personally would like to table this to our next meeting in December, because I really haven't had a chance to read this over as thoroughly as I would like to. I have no problem with it, because I feel the greater that we define something, the less chance there is for, there's more chance that it's clearer and less chance for ambiguity. So I would like to read this over more carefully before I act upon it. I have no problem with it being looked at, but I would like the time to look at it more carefully.
I happen to agree with that suggestion because I have not read it. I
either.
just received it today, or we just received it today. And I also think that Jonathan needs to receive it and review it also. So,
So I would make a motion to table discussion on this till we've had a better chance to read this, and perhaps have a conversation at our next meeting with the town administrator about this. So I think I need a second on that.
we have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Rose. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Item B, sexual harassment officers.
On the page 39 of the employee handbook, it says the Board of Selectmen designates the town administrator as a sexual harassment grievance officer. In the past, it had been at one time a police officer and an employee here. I would think that to be fair and impartial, it should probably be police officers, one of each gender, a male and female police officer, to be the sexual harassment grievance officers.
Okay, at one time, we had, the treasurer collector was a sexual harassment officer, and the other person was Sergeant Pam Daniels.
Yes.
And obviously, she's been retired for a while now, so it probably needs to be readdressed and relooked at. So I would suggest that we table this also until we have an opportunity to discuss it with Jonathan.
I think it has merit. I think that
I think it does
it
have
shouldn't
merit.
be, it should be removed from somebody within, if the harassment is happening within the town hall, it should be removed from the town hall as far as a person who's going to check into it and take care of the issue. So I think that it has merit, and we should discuss that.
I agree. The other thing I'm a little bit concerned about, it says, contacting the sexual grievance officer within 10 days. I have a concern about that, because if somebody is harassed and they feel intimidated, or they feel that it's personal, and they might be afraid to speak up a little bit, and I think putting a 10-day restriction or requirement on reporting it is very restrictive, especially if somebody has been sexually harassed. They might feel embarrassed, they might feel shame, they might feel afraid. We have people now all over the world that are speaking up after lengthy periods of time that somebody had violated them, and I am not comfortable, I myself am not comfortable of having to report it within 10 days. So I think that needs to be discussed also. Any other comments?
I think, you know, in many cases, in contracts or in working conditions in other professions, you have at least 30 days in which to file any type of a grievance or concern of sexual harassment or whatever. So I think 10 days seems to be a short window
Very short window.
of reporting time. So I would agree with you that, you know, that probably should be discussed further in fairness to employees in the building. Do you want me to make a motion to that effect, or do we need a motion for that? I don't think we need a motion that you're going to speak to the administrator about this?
Yes, what I was hoping for, and unfortunately Jonathan had a conflict today and was not able to attend today's meeting, so a lot of this would have been brought up in his presence. And I don't know whether we should table most of these until after he's able to attend our next meeting, or do you want to pursue them quicker?
I think as they're on the agenda, they should at least be brought up, and we can make a motion to table, which I think would be the best way to do it, rather than not address those things on the agenda.
Okay,
So I would make a motion that we table that, the reporting time until our next meeting, when we have the town administrator here, so we can have a discussion about that.
okay.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The bereavement leave, grandchild, we pretty much already discussed that.
You forgot D.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Part-time employees, casual employees, clarification?
Yeah, I think, excuse me, I think we already covered that
Yep.
too.
So, you
We-
want to wait to have that discussion with Jonathan?
Yes.
So then I'll make a motion that we table item D, which is part-time casual employees clarification, to our next meeting.
All in favor, or a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item number E,
We
same.
made a motion already to
Made a
that
motion
effect.
on that. Item number F. Advise BOS to complete the town administrator's evaluation. This was discussed at last night's selectmen's meeting. Jonathan gave each of the selectmen a copy of the process or the procedure where they would rate him. And there is a point system as part of his rating, 1 being exceptional, 4 being exceptional, 1 being unsatisfactory. They changed that from unsatisfactory to improvement needs. That was motioned last night because unsatisfactory, some of the selectmen felt was a little bit too harsh of a word, where somebody needs to certainly know that they need to improve in certain areas. The selectmen will be doing their evaluations during the next 2-week period, and they will submit the evaluation, their scores. I believe the scores will all be sent to the chairman of the Board of Selectmen, and they will be tallied up, and his performance appraisal then, once is approved, from what I understand, is then Jonathan would like to have the performance appraisal come before the Personnel Board for completion at sometime in June. So that's all I know about it.
Can I just do an aside in this discussion? If the Board of Selectmen find unsatisfactory to be harsh, then I would like to suggest that we look at our evaluation form, and if that's the term that we use, if it's harsh for one person, it's harsh for all people.
Yep.
And
I
so,
believe we have needs improvement.
it says needs improvement?
Needs improvement.
All right, so then I'm in agreement with that if it says needs improvement.
Yep. Okay. Performance appraisals, item number G. Carol, can you give us an update? Have department heads submitted performance appraisals to you or
There are some that are still outstanding, but they are coming in on a regular basis.
on a regular basis?
Yes.
Okay, and when glancing at them, do you believe they're filled out properly so far?
I know there was an issue about outstanding being all checked off. That was,
Absolutely.
Yes.
there are
Okay.
some that are, so.
My personal opinion on that, if somebody submits a performance appraisal where somebody is rated completely outstanding through the entire process and through the system, I would like to refer that evaluation back to the department head for reconsideration. Because I believe everybody has some needs to improve in some areas. It's continuous improvement. It doesn't make any difference whether it's a non-union employee or an exempt salaried employee. The system should be rated the same. So, once again, this year, we'll have to address that issue again. And my suggestion is that we send them back for reconsideration.
I agree. What is the deadline, Carol?
It was November 7th,
It was.
right. But some departments have a very busy season right now, so they've asked for an extension of 2 weeks, which I talked with Peter, and we've granted
All right,
that.
that's reasonable.
Yeah, the assessor's office has been extremely busy. She's been doing reclassification and then new tax rates, and I know the selectmen voted last night. Are they gonna have Dudley a single tax rate or multiple tax rate? Lisa gave a very nice PowerPoint presentation on that, so yes, she has been very busy. So I'm okay with that.
Are we all going to get a copy of Carol's?
Yes,
And are we all going to do our own
yes,
evaluation?
yes. I received Carol's self-evaluation. I have a blank form. I will ask Carol also to make sure you all get a blank form. We will all rate Carol individually, and then we will sit down and come up with a consensus as a group. You're okay with that, Joan? Okay. Item number 5, personal director's comments. Obviously, there are none today. Item number 6, other business. None. Personnel board member comments. Anybody have anything they would like to talk about or bring up or discuss?
I'd just like to say I agree with Rose said about having,
Taking attendance.
taking attendance every week. Most of the other boards do that.
Okay, I have no problems with it. You want to put that in as a
We
motion?
did, didn't we?
We did. I
Did
thought,
we?
Yes.
Okay, I have no problems with that at all. And you're right. If the public tunes in and say, well, who's this person, or who's that person, it's nice to put a name with the face. Thank you. Item number 8, next meeting and adjournment. Our next,
There is one other thing, Peter, under
Yes.
holiday leave. I had talked with you about this in planning meetings for the various boards and committees. The town clerk mentioned that if there is a holiday on a particular day that we are working, the employees are working, that is taken as a regular holiday. If it's on a weekend, then that holiday, it's a major holiday, not like Columbus Day or
You're
something.
talking Christmas,
Christmas
New
and-
Year's,
Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Thanksgiving. Well, Thanksgiving's always a Thursday, but yes.
but Christmas, New Year's, or whatever, that the following week, a day off is given. But that's not anywhere in the employee handbook. It's kind of a general, this is the way we've always done it. So I don't know if that should be addressed.
It should be addressed. I don't think necessarily, it is precedent, and so that is on the side of what has been done. Precedent is always important, but I think it should be in writing. So there is no
Peter.
question.
I was told when I was working here by a former administrator, if the holiday is on a Saturday, you have the Friday off, and if the holiday is on a Sunday, you have the Monday off.
But that was his policy, correct?
Yes,
Okay, but there's nothing stated in the,
no.
So we probably should.
and we
I would think.
probably should.
So I would make a motion that, Peter, that be another issue that you take up with Jonathan, that should be addressed so that there's clarification and people know that if this happens,
Yep.
this is I mean, whether it's gonna be the Monday, the following Monday, or if it's a Friday and if it's a Saturday, you get the Friday off, whatever, that they can count and bank on, that's when their time will be.
I question that, because if you say it's on a Saturday, you take the Friday off, does that mean everybody in the town hall has Friday off? Or if it's on a Sunday, everybody has Monday off? When I worked in the public field, we split it. Some people had the option of taking a Friday off, whereas some of the option, they would kind of schedule you. So like if there were 2 people in the office, one took the Friday off, the other person took the Monday off. So there was always coverage on a Friday, on a Monday, which is a normal working day. So I don't know how the board would, or the town administrator would want to do that. I like the option, Saturday, Friday, Sunday, Monday. But if you've got 2 people in the office, are they both out on that same day? Then you don't have any coverage on a regular working day that somebody would just come in. I know that we had, well, the state had different things, but you had like evacuation day, and some people would come to the office. It was a holiday that wasn't known to the public, and they were too late, the doors were closed.
I can understand your point for lesser holidays, but I think with Christmas
Oh,
and
Christmas,
Christmas and New Year's, I think it's fine to say that that holiday will be observed on the following Monday, and all town, the town office will be closed. I think if the public is notified about that ahead of time, then they can adjust their business with that. I don't think there are too many holidays here that we're looking at. I think New Year's, probably Memorial Day. Labor Day is always on a Monday, that's not a problem. Veterans Day is always on the day that it is. So I'm thinking that, and Thanksgiving is irrelevant. So you're looking at 3 holidays, basically. You're looking at Christmas, New Year's, and Memorial Day, which now varies. It's always celebrated on a Monday, isn't it? It's the whatever Monday is closest to the 31st.
Yeah, Memorial.
So that's irrelevant also. You're looking at Christmas and New Year's, which for people who are planning, I think it's a big thing.
4th of July, maybe?
Oh, 4th of July also, yes. That would be another one, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is a big thing because a lot of people travel, and they travel on extended days, so it's something we'll have to address for sure.
So you're looking at 3 days.
Yep.
Because usually, Thanksgiving is always on a Thursday, the 4th Thursday of the month. But most places give their employees Friday at the day after. They're traveling, and so, and it's a good time. You're with family on Thursday, so you've got the next day off. That's great.
And we do that for our employees, which is a good thing. We give them the day after Thanksgiving. I think for those 3 days that we should have that discussion, just so it's in writing.
Yep, I agree. Carol, you and I are going to meet on Thursday, and we will go over all of these items that I need to address with Jonathan, to make sure I cover all of them. Because I don't want to do 2 and then forget 1 or something. So between the minutes of this meeting and on Thursday, I'll meet down with you and we'll detail everything that we've discussed and everything that we have voted on today. And then I'll take that forward to Jonathan.
I made a motion on that, so it wasn't seconded, I don't believe.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have a second?
I'm sorry, I'm gathering wool.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries, and I'm sorry I didn't follow through on that. Keeping me honest. Good job.
Always honest, Peter.
I want to, well, first of all, our next meeting will be December 17th, 9 a.m., same place. I have 2 things. The first one being is I want to compliment this board for working hard on bringing up these concerns and issues and reviewing the handbook and the policies, and I know there's a lot of work to it, a lot of detail, but all of you have done a very, very good job at this, and I want to say thank you. And I also want to wish all of you a very happy, healthy Thanksgiving.
Same to you.
Same to you.
Enjoying the
And also to
holiday.
people in the town.
And the people in the town. That motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it. This time I'm awake.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Fred.